So yesterday we have seen till the time delay functions. The time delay functions are usually OS time delay count and OS time delay HMSM. These are the two commands which are used for time delays. And once we create a time delay, before its timeout, if we need to resume that particular task, I mean, for what we are using these time delays, we are actually using these time delays for delaying a particular task. Suppose you need to delay a particular task for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, you can use these two functions, that is OS time delay, delay count, and OS time delay, HMSM. In the case of delay count, you will be specifying the number of clock ticks. Okay, you will be specifying the number of system clock ticks, and that particular system clock tick will be having a time period. I have mentioned an example yesterday that one system clock a tick can be, say, if it is 10 millisecond, then for 1 second you will have to provide a count of 100. If 100 is the count provided over here, then you will be getting a delay of 1 second. If one system clock tick is 10 millisecond. So in that way, you can give a delay for a particular task. And another way is you can mention directly the hour, minute, second, and millisecond values. And for that, you will be using this delay function, OS time delay, HMSM. And in brackets, you will be mentioning these parameters. You'll be mentioning the hour, minute, second, and millisecond value. So these are the two time delay functions. And after that, I mentioned about the time delay resume. And this is actually the function that is used for resuming the task. And you understand that it's actually used for resuming the task before the timeout. നമ്മൾ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ടൈം ഡിലേക്ക് മുമ്പ് നമുക്കത് റെസ്യൂം ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ആ പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടാസ്ക് റെസ്യൂം ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ വി വിൽ ബി യൂസിംഗ് ദ OS time delay resume function. Okay, is that clear? And these three are simple. I mean, if you are asked about the time delay functions, you need to mention about these three functions. If you are asked about the time functions, system time functions, you can mention along with the delay functions, you can also mention the set and get, OS time set and OS time get function. This is for setting time and this is for getting that particular time. If you need to get that particular time, if you need to get the value of a particular time, you can use the OS time get function. And in order to set a particular time, you can make use of OS time set. And these are the system time and time delay functions. Is that okay? Can we move further? Okay, the next two more topics are that they are the memory allocation related functions and semaphore related functions. Semaphore related function, I think we have already studied in the last module, functions related to semaphore. But this you need to be familiar with. So I will explain the help of. Can you see the board?
Sir,
കാണാലോ. Okay. So we have now seen the two different types of functions. The first one was system level functions. System level functions. And then we have seen the task service functions. Task service functions. And next, our topic comes as memory allocation related functions. Memory allocation related functions in MuCOS, microcontroller operating system version 2. Memory allocation related functions. And out of that, the first one is First of all, we need to create a particular memory, right? Then only we can access the memory or we can make use of that memory. First operation has to be, I mean, similar to that of a task. The first operation was to create the task. Aditya operation was a task create. Similar to that, we'll be having a memory create function. And this is actually the function that we use for creating memory. So you will be having a memory with you. Creating a memory in the sense, it's not like physically creating a memory. You are having a memory, but you need to set partitions for that, right? Suppose you have a memory of this sort, it is not partitioned or it is not specified like which block is having which size and all. So you need to define that. So you need to, defining these parameters will be what we call as memory create. You have the physical memory. It's not like we are physically creating a memory. You have a physical memory, but you need to specify some terms. You need to divide that into some blocks and you need to name them, or you need to mention the starting address, etc. Some details has to be mentioned with respect to that particular memory. So what is the use of this memory? We need memory for many purposes. For storing the task, for many purposes we need memory. So memory creation is also an important part of the real-time operating system. So for that, we'll be making use of OS memory create function, and you can see the parameters inside that. Having memory address, memory type, number of blocks, that is NUM blocks, num blocks, then the block size, then a pointer to the memory error. These are the four different parameters inside this function. Okay, task create function using the something we had some parameters inside that function. So similar to that, we are having some functions. Starts from memory address. What is memory address? Memory address actually points to the starting address. Actually, this is a physical memory. We are actually dividing this into number of blocks. Okay, so in this memory part, we have partitioned it to 4 number of blocks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We are having 4 number of blocks. And you will be having an address over here, right? That will be the starting address. Then you need to fix the size of this particular block. Right? All these things are essential for defining a particular memory. Memory definition, we need these many things, right? We need the starting address. You have an entire space, entire memory space, and you define when you define a memory or when you create a memory, you need to specify which is or what is the starting address of that particular memory. And that is what we do by this parameter. We will set the starting address, say, for example. And one more thing, that is memory type. Memory type is actually specifying which type of memory, that is the data type regarding. Either you are using a 16-bit or 32-bit memory, that you will specify over that. So suppose you are using a 16-bit memory, or say 16-bit memory. Then you will be mentioning like this, 0x 8000. This will be 16-bit. And this can be given over here, that is as a starting address. Your memory starts from, the memory that you create starts from this starting address. So the first parameter can be set like this. And then the second parameter is memory type. We are actually using a 16-bit, right? We are using a 16-bit memory allocation. So number of blocks you need to mention. You can mention it as 4. I'm telling it with this example, okay. I'm giving the value as 4. And then you need the block size. For that, you can set it as 1024 or 1024 corresponding to 1 kilobyte. Okay, you can mention that over here. That is, each block will be having a size of 1024 bytes or 1 KB. And in the last, you need to mention an address where the error conditions will be stored. That is, after performing, similar to that of task creation. Task creation, we mentioned about some error codes, right? Certain error codes were there. Similar to that, you have some error codes here also. So those error code values will be stored in the address mentioned over here. This function use errors. Errors in the value. That errors, these errors are like they also will be having a value. Either it will be 1 or 0. If you are mentioning like OS no error, it means that this value can either be 1 or 0, right? If it is 1, it shows that there is no error, since this function represents no error. OS no error function. We use function use if the value corresponding to this error is 1, it means that there is no error. Okay, so you need some space for storing the error codes, right? You need some space for storing the error codes, and that we are actually defining over here. And unsigned byte memory error, the address of that error codes, that will be mentioned as the last parameter or fourth parameter. So these are the 4 parameters. First, we need to mention the starting address. You can mention it like this. If we are dealing with a 16-bit memory, then you can mention the number of blocks. I mentioned it like 4. I can mention the block size, that is the size of each block. I have mentioned it as 1 KB or 1024. And the last will be the address where the error codes will be stored. And this is how you explain the memory create function. Okay. So I have mentioned that once we create the memory create function, once we use this function, certain error codes will be generated, and that error codes we'll discuss right now. And those error codes will be stored where? Those error codes will be stored at the memory address specified over here. Error codes ഇവിടെ സ്റ്റോർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന അഡ്രസ്സിലേക്കും ഈ പറയുന്ന error codes stored ആയിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. And it is pretty much similar to that of our task എന്നതുപോലെ തന്നെയാണ് ഇത്, വലിയ വ്യത്യാസമൊന്നുമില്ല. Except the parameters. Task, where in the case of task we used to mention the task priority and all, but here in our priorities we are actually specifying the terms like blocks, that is the number of blocks in that particular partition, and then we'll be specifying the size of each block. So I will mention the error codes. Error codes in the sense, once you use this function, what are the possible errors after using this function? First one, similar to that of our previous case, that is OS no error, which means that there is no error and the memory creation has succeeded. It has completed successfully. That particular memory creation or this function has worked successfully. Then this value will be returning 0. Okay, sorry, 1. It will be returning 1. So you can mention this OS no error will be equal to true or 1 if memory creation is succeeded, is success. If memory creation is success, if there is no error and the memory creation process is a success, then this will be returning a value true or 1. Then next error code will be OS memory invalid blocks. OS memory invalid blocks. And this error usually occurs when we mention when we are actually partitioning the memory, we need to mention the number of blocks as 2 or more. Okay, this second parameter has to be mentioned as 2 or more. We need to partition in the sense we need to divide it in more than one way, right? ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് ഡിവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് it's called partition. So this function is actually for creating partitions within the memory block. So that value, that is the number of block value, has to be greater than 2. That is, its value should be 2 or more. If that value is not greater than 2, then you will get an error function. So OS memory invalid blocks means if this will be 1, that is e error occur ചെയ്യുന്നത് എപ്പോഴാണെന്നുള്ളത്, OS memory invalid blocks, this value will be 1 if the number of blocks passed, we are passing that parameter, right? It's actually called passed. Number of blocks passed is not at least 2. If the number of blocks passed is not at least 2, it should be 2 or more. The number of blocks should be 2 or more. Otherwise, it will set this error. The error value set out. That is, this value will be 1. And last one, OS memory invalid partition, PART. OS memory invalid partition. And this error will be generated, or this value will be 1. This error value will be 1 when or if attempting to partition when memory is not available. Suppose the memory is completely accessed or there is no free memory, then this error will occur. That is, you cannot do the partition. If there is no existence of memory, then this error will be occurred. That is, OS memory invalid partition. The value of this error code will be 1 if you are trying or if you are attempting to partition when the memory is not available or when memory doesn't exist. You are not having any free memory for partition. In that case, this error value will be set. So this is the first function related to memory allocation in operating system, that is particularly in mucosa RTOS. That is OS memory create. Have you noted this? Okay. So this was the first thing, and then you have 3 more. I mean, with respect to memory creation, you are having 3 more functions, and those are pretty simple. I mean, not much difficulty in studying them. Next function will be OS memory get function. Third will be OS memory put function, and fourth one will be OS memory query. This OS memory get function is actually used. I mean, once you have created the memory blocks, suppose you need to access a particular block, or not you, but an application that you use requires a particular block or requires an access to a particular block, then you can make use of this function. Yeah, then you can make use of this function, that is OS memory get. If you need to access or if you need to get a particular block from the partition, you have F4 partition memory and you need to access or you need to get a particular block from that partition, you can make use of this function, that is OS memory get. For what you are getting this block, you need to access that block either to perform a write or read operation. So for that, you need to access that block, and that particular access can be done or initiated by OS memory get function. And once you get that, you need to put some data, or you need to put some data or store some data. So for that, we can use OS memory put function. You get the block and then you put some data, and it is to be returned to the partition. You are taking a block with the help of OS memory get function from the partition. You are taking a block from the partition using OS memory get function, and you are returning back this block to the partition. It's like, I mean, if this is your partition, you are taking this block by using OS memory get. You means application. Your application program will be taking this memory block by using OS memory get function, and for returning this block to the partition, you will be using OS memory put. And if you have any query regarding that memory partitions, any information, if you need any information regarding the memory partitions, you will be using this function, OS memory query. Any information with respect to the created memory. Any information with respect to the created memory can be accessed with the help of OS memory query. So these are the 4 functions that are used in memory allocation. I will share the screen. So you can see that. So if you need to create a memory block at memory address, you can use make use of OS mem create function, and which partitions the memory from an address with partitions in the blocks. Then for getting a memory block at a memory address, you can use OS memory get function. And for querying a memory block, that is for getting an information regarding a particular memory block, you can make use of the function OS memory query. And for putting the memory block into the partition, for getting it from the partition, you will be using OS memory get, and for putting it back to the partition, you will be using OS memory put function. And these are the memory allocation related functions in MucosRTOS. The next is semaphore related functions. Yes, semaphore related functions. Semaphore, you are aware of semaphore, what the concept behind semaphore. It can be either binary or counting semaphore. And the first, for every this kind of an operation, the first thing that you have to do is to create that particular function, right? So for that you need to, if you are making use of a semaphore concept, first a semaphore variable has to be created. We have mentioned about semaphore variable. Semaphore discussing in the summit, we have mentioned about the semaphore variable. We have defined a semaphore variable as s in our examples. S in our variable defined, and in that case, the first process was to create a semaphore variable and then initialize that particular value. And these were the 2 different things that we did at first. Create the semaphore value and initialize it with some values. If in the case of binary semaphore, you will be initializing the semaphore variable s with, if it is a binary semaphore, we will be initializing it with 1. We'll be initializing it with 1 value. If it is a counting semaphore, we'll be giving, as per the number of resources that are available, we will be specifying a count. Okay, so that's actually a semaphore create. OSM create is actually used for creating a particular semaphore variable and for initializing it. You can mention it like that. For creating as well as initializing the semaphore variable, some value. That value has to be initialized. That's it. After the mention GM, if it's a binary value, I mean, if it's a binary semaphore, you will be assigning or you will be initializing the semaphore variable with 1. If it is a counting semaphore, then you will be initializing it with a value that is equal to the number of resources that are available. Is that okay? Oh. So once you have created the semaphore variable and you have initialized it, you need to do some other functions that I will explain on the board. OS sum create was the first function. Hope you can see the screen, right? Screen കാണാലോ.
Sir,
okay. OS sum create was the first function. Now I am dealing with semaphore related functions. So this was your first function, OS sum create. What we do here is we'll be creating a sum value, or we will be creating a semaphore variable and we'll be assigning a value to that semaphore variable. Sum value, SEM, not SOME. Sum value will be assigned. Either it will be assigned as initialized as 1 in case of binary semaphore, or it will be initialized as n in case of counting semaphore. That's the first process that we do. Then you have you will be making use of that function, and some other functions are required. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഈ semaphore എന്ന് പറയുന്ന concept നിങ്ങൾ അവിടെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. At the same time, you need some more things, right? Like OS sem pend. What is this concept? Pend, OS sem pend. So നമ്മൾ semaphore use ചെയ്യുന്നത്, it is particularly being used for if you are particularly mentioning about the binary semaphore, you are using that in a critical section where you need just one process to enter into that section. ഒരു critical section എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് program code ന്റെ ഒരു particular portionൽ you just need only one process to enter that section at one time, then you can make use of binary semaphore. So in that case, you know that only one process will be accessing the critical section at a time, and the remaining task or remaining process will be in pending state, right? For example, binary semaphore in the case, you just tell me, when you will be aware of binary semaphore concept. You have a critical section and one process has now entered into the critical section, and one process currently accessing the critical section. In that sense, what will be the value of semaphore variable at that time? If a particular process is in the critical section, if a particular process is in the critical section, the value of semaphore variable will be, what will be the value? ഒരു പ്രോസസ് critical section enter ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ semaphore variable ന്റെ value എത്ര ആയിരിക്കും? If in the case of binary semaphore, എന്തായിരിക്കും പറയണേ? Can you tell out the mic? I cannot see the chat. 0. So നമ്മൾ initialize ചെയ്യുന്ന ഏത് value വെച്ചിട്ടാണ്? We are actually initializing the semaphore with 1, right? We are initializing the semaphore variable with 1, and a process now tries to enter the critical section. So just before entering the critical section, its value will be decremented by 1. അല്ലേ? ഇപ്പം value 1 ആണ്. Critical sectionലേക്ക് enter ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? Its value will be decremented by 1. അത് അവിടെ നിന്ന് ലീവ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് its value is again incremented by 1. That's actually the concept of binary semaphore. That is, the S value is initialized as 1, and when a particular process is trying to enter into the critical section, its value is S is equal to S minus 1. That is, its value becomes 0. And when the value becomes 0, when S is equal to 0, no other process or task can enter into that critical section. അല്ലേ? ഒരു പ്രോസസ് ക്രിട്ടിക്കൽ സെക്ഷനിൽ ആക്സസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് എസിന്റെ വാല്യൂ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി 0, and when S value is equal to 0, no other processes will be able to enter into that critical section. Okay, so once that particular process has completed the access of critical section, its value will be incremented to 1 again. Now another process can come into the critical section. That is, before accessing the critical section, there will be a decrementation operation, and after execution, there will be an incrementation operation. S is equal to S plus 1 will be there. Then S again becomes 1. So that is the process actually that is actually the process that is happening. So in that sense, we can, suppose one process is in the operating state or in the execution state, you need to set some other processes. Processes on access here. So anganola process you will be keeping them in the pending state. Okay. So the task which uses this function, remember the task which uses OSMPend function will be able to access the resource or critical section, whatever it be, will be able to access the resource only when the semaphore is released. So now here in this case, the semaphore, when S value is equal to 0, it means that a particular process is in the running state. One process access S value 0, that you know. So what happens when it is released? When that process has got released, then its value again become 1. So what is this function used for? This function will be used in a particular process or task. For what? For letting the task operate. When the semaphore value is released. This function is used in a particular task for letting that task to run when the semaphore value is released. That is, when the semaphore value is released in the sense when the semaphore value is greater than 0. 0 alladhoru value varumbo. 0 alladhoru value it will be 1 in case of binary semaphore. It will be 1. So 1 ആകുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഈ pending task നെ access ചെയ്യാം. Pending task can access the critical section or resource, whatever it be. So ഈ പെൻഡിങ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഒരു ക്യൂ പോലെ നമ്മൾ ഫോം ചെയ്താണ് OSMPend. ഓക്കെ, ഒരു ടാസ്ക് നിങ്ങൾക്കുണ്ട്, ആ ടാസ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ഈ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ദിസ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടാസ്ക് ക്യാൻ ആക്സസ് ദ ക്രിട്ടിക്കൽ സെക്ഷൻ ഇഫ് ദ സെമാഫോർ വാല്യൂ ഈസ് നോട്ട് ഈക്വൽ ടു 0. 0 അല്ലാതൊരു വാല്യൂ ആണെങ്കിൽ ദിസ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടാസ്ക്, ദ ടാസ്ക് വെയർ യു യൂസ് ദിസ് ഫംഗ്ഷൻ, ഈ OSMPend എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഫംഗ്ഷൻ യൂസ് ചെയ്ത ടാസ്കിന് യു ക്യാൻ ആക്സസ് if the semaphore value is not is not equal to 0. So that is a concept about OSMPend. That is, there will be some waiting condition. Pend എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ there is some pending or waiting condition. ഒരു waiting condition ഉണ്ട്. So at the contrary, once you have used this function, ഒരു contrary part ഉണ്ട്. If we need to access, നമ്മൾ queueന്റെ message queueന്റെ കേസിൽ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, if we are okay that നമുക്ക് ആ message queueന്റെ ആക്ച്വൽ ഫ്രണ്ട് എൻഡിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ മാത്രം ഡാറ്റ മതിയെങ്കിൽ യു ക്യാൻ ക്രിയേറ്റ് എ പെൻ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ, അല്ലെ, പെൻഡിങ് ആയിട്ട് നിൽക്കുക, അല്ലെ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇഫ് യു നീഡ് ടു ആക്സസ് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ്ലി, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇഫ് യു ആർ നോട്ട് റെഡി ടു വെയിറ്റ്, ഇഫ് എ പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടാസ്ക് ഈസ് നോട്ട് റെഡി ടു വെയിറ്റ്, ഇത് സെമാഫോർ റിലീസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വരെ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ യു ക്യാൻ മേക്ക് യൂസ് ഓഫ് എ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ കോൾഡ് OSM accept. OSM accept. That's the next function. That is, you are not, or a particular task need not wait for the semaphore to become 0, or semaphore to become 1 or a value other than 0. അത് 0 ആകുന്ന സമയത്താണ് എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്, ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാതെ വരുന്നത്. ബട്ട് OSM accept എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ദാറ്റ്സ് എ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ യൂസ്ഡ് when you are not ready, when a particular task is not ready to wait for the semaphore release, then you will be making use of the function OSM accept. Then there is another function called OSM query. OSM query, that is for getting the information regarding the semaphore variable. അതിന്റെ വാല്യൂ ഇപ്പോൾ എത്രയാണ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് നമ്മൾ OSM query എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു ഫംഗ്ഷൻ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. That's normal. That's present in almost all the level functions. Yes. So for creating a semaphore for the IPCs, obviously the semaphores are for inter-process communication. IPC ഒക്കെ ഓർമ്മ ഉണ്ടാവണം, inter-process communication. So creating a semaphore for the IPCs, for that we'll be using OSM create. Waiting for an IPC for semaphore release, OSMPend. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, നമ്മൾ ഒരു what is this semaphore used for? It's actually used for inter-process communication. So if you are waiting for a semaphore release, that is, if you are waiting in binary semaphore case, 0 ആകുന്ന സമയത്ത് that particular resource will be utilized by some process. So we need to wait until the binary semaphore value becomes 1. So that if we are ready to wait for an IPC for semaphore release, then we can make use of OSM pend. Then here it is check for availability of an IPC after a semaphore release, but here it's actually used when you need not, you need not wait for semaphore release. We can write it like that. OSM accept is used when the task is not ready to wait for the semaphore release. OSM pendന്റെ നേരെ അടുത്ത സെക്ഷൻ ആണ് OSM post എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. It's actually for sending an IPC after a semaphore release function. ഒരു semaphore release കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും OSM post. And finally, you will be having the semaphore OSM query also. And these are the semaphore related function. And this is pretty much similar to that of that we have learned in the last module. നമ്മൾ already നോക്കിയതാണ് ഈ functions ഒക്കെ last module. So that's it from the 6th module, and there is only one small topic left, some examples of some real-time operating systems that I will mention in the notes, or I will give a pre-recorded video, or if I'm getting class tomorrow, I will take that. So make sure that you are focusing on the 5th and 6th module when you are preparing for your final examinations, because 5th and 6th module you can get direct questions. All the modules will be getting direct questions, but here I can assure you some questions. എനിക്ക് ഉറപ്പായിട്ടും വരാൻ പറ്റും എന്ന് പറയുന്ന കുറച്ച് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു തരാൻ പറ്റും from 5th and 6th after referring your previous question papers. And out of that, one important question from 6th module is task service functions, and that's been asked in almost all question papers. So remember, when you are studying, focus on the main areas. Don't study in a vast concept. ഈ ഓരോ കാര്യങ്ങളും you can study for, you can write for plenty of pages. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കുറേ pages ഇല്ല. ഈ creating a task എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു concept തന്നെ, if you refer the text, I will show you the text right now. You have the text here. I will give the scanned copy of this. For one particular topic itself, you will be having plenty of things to write, but you just focus on the main things to write. Creating a task എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് pages എഴുതാൻ പറ്റും അതിനെപ്പറ്റി, but depending upon the marks, you need to regulate your answers. Okay, I will help you with that in the later sessions. Anyways, thank you. Then mention your attendance. നിങ്ങളുടെ എക്സാമിനേഷൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് ഒന്നും ഇതുവരെ വന്നിട്ടില്ല. അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇൻഫോം ചെയ്യും. Okay, thank you.